Come on, Poppet. It's not the end of the world.
I know, but I liked him, Julian. I really liked him.
I know that, love. But he lied to us.
I don't think we can throw stones on that count.
Sarah, my girl, you're a big girl now. I can't tell you how dangerous a lie like that can be.
Why does everything have to be so involved? Why couldn't he just have been what he said he was?
Well, he wasn't. And we couldn't take the risk, could we?
One umbrella, one set of keys, one bracelet. Sign there. This is the money you've earned, including work release from the factory. Sign there. Well, that's all. Till next time.
Well, Doreen, already?
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
I don't want to see you back here, and I really mean that.
Don't worry. I don't want to be back.
It's not going to be easy, but you have a great opportunity this time, so don't forget your appointment with Dr. Henderson tomorrow morning.
I won't, Mrs. Davidson. Bye, and thanks.
Goodbye, Doreen.
Bye, Miss Bennett.
Come along, Doreen. I'll walk you to the gate. She'll be back. I'll give her 3 months.
Bye, Doreen. Bus should be along soon.
Bye, Mrs. Jackson.
Miss Morris, any statement on the proceedings so far? Any comment on your boyfriend's evidence? Will you be furnishing Oops with a statement later? How are you holding out the strain, Miss Morris?
What's going on?
Sit back and shut up, the pair of you.
What's going on? I thought you were supposed to protect me.
Yeah, that's right. A special branch.
Under Commissioner McNally, I suppose.
You keep your trap shut and you'll be okay. That's how we want it.
What happened to the guys you stole the uniforms from?
I told you to shut up.
ambulance. She's still alive. Get up. Well, nice bloody friends of yours, eh, Tracy? Huh?
Why did she do it?
Why, yeah. Because she's a policewoman doing her job.
Will she be all right?
I hope so.
It was a big party.
Yeah, one of the best.
Food was lovely. I don't know how you managed it, Bea.
I excelled myself.
I bet the governor's saying that.
I tell you what, the screws didn't seem to like me helping myself. I can't imagine why.
I guess you're pretty broken up about being taken off kitchen duty.
Oh, yeah, cried my eyes out. Still, it was worth it to give Dorian a decent send-off.
Doesn't seem like 6 months since they picked her up. They wouldn't have either if it hadn't been for me.
Now, come on, that's all water under the bridge.
Dora and Kev would still be together if it
Oh, and
hadn't
living
been for
happily ever after. Come on. Had nothing to do with you. Look, Dora's a beaut kid, but she's like a little puppy dog. She needs someone to follow around. If it hadn't been you, it would have been someone else.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Hey, what the heck, anyway? She's out now, huh? It's something going to come to us all eventually.
Yeah, speak for yourself. They filed my release papers right next to my pension card.
She get away all right, Mrs. Jackson?
No, Lizzie. We put her in irons and chained her to the wall of the cellar.
Well, nothing would surprise me.
Yes, of course she's out. She served a sentence. We can't keep her here forever.
Poor old Dor. Out there all on her own.
Yes. Right, good. Thanks for letting me know. Main gate just phoned through. Tracy Morris has finally been brought back. Apparently she was snatched away from court this afternoon. No one thought to tell us.
Well, is she all right?
Yeah, she's fine. Police held her at headquarters for a statement. Apparently a policewoman was hurt.
Good evening, Mr. Fletcher.
Good evening, Inspector Grace. I was wondering where Morris had got to, and then he phoned the police.
Well, I'm sorry about that. One of my constables should have notified you. However, outside these prison walls, there is a lot of excitement.
Are you all right?
Yes.
Should be the last day tomorrow, unless some new evidence comes in, which I doubt. Good. You?
Inspector, do you think they'll try again?
I shouldn't think so. We've established a strong link between one of those blokes and Mr. McNally. However, we won't be able to pin this one on him, of course. He employs some very smart lawyers, does Mr. McNally, but I don't think even he will risk another attempt to get you. After tomorrow, it won't matter. Your evidence on Joe Valor will put him right where we want him. Good night.
All right, Tracy. You know the procedure. Search and shower.
Mrs. Jackson?
Yes?
A policewoman, the one who saved my life. Could you find out how she is?
Yes, of course.
It's just I couldn't bear it if it...
Come along.
Well, the wanderer returns. What took you so long? You having dinner with the judge or something?
My God, what happened to you? Look after her, Judy. She's had a nasty experience.
Sure.
Well, come on, you lot. Don't just stand there gawking.
What happened to her, Mrs. J?
She was kidnapped from the court by a couple of gangsters posing as policemen.
The bastards.
Yes, they shot a policewoman who helped Tracy get away.
They get her, Mrs. Jackson?
Yes.
Cool. First they have a shot at you and Mr. Morrison, then at a police lady.
Yes, well, Tracy's pretty upset by it. She feels guilty because other people get hurt because of her.
Oh, it's not her. It's the damn drugs that are behind.
It's not the drugs themselves, Bea. It's those who use them for power and money.
I don't care how many kids they push down when they're lying there.
I've got a job to do.
Oh, God.
Hello. I'm Cheryl Scott.
Yeah?
Yes, I live over the road. I noticed the light on. I didn't realise there was anyone living here.
Yeah, me. I'm Doreen Burns.
Oh, Mrs. Hemming's daughter. Yeah, I met your husband a few weeks ago. Actually, it was he who asked me to keep an eye on the place. He told me you're away. Well, I bet you're pleased to be back with him now.
We've split up.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Look, if you're here on your own, you're very welcome to pop over for a drink. Why not come for dinner? Well, my husband will be home in a moment.
No, thanks.
Well, it's really no trouble.
No, I've got to get up real early in the morning.
Well, some other time, maybe.
Yeah, sure, thanks. Bye.
How is she, Mick?
Oh, Bob, she's okay. A bit shaken up, but she's coping.
Can I see her?
Oh, it's too late for visiting now.
But I've only just found out. Nobody bothered to tell me.
I'm sorry, Bob. If it were up to me, I'd let you in.
Well, when's it all going to end?
Well, Inspector Grace doesn't think there'll be any more threats. This afternoon was the last desperate attempt.
Well, let's hope he's right. Tracy's been through enough as it is. Is she really taking it all right?
Well, she feels responsible for the policewoman being shot. Well, after what happened to you and me.
Do you know how she is?
No, I was just waiting to hear. I think that's depressing Tracy more than anything. Oh, well, I suppose I better sign off and go home. I've been off duty for an hour.
Can I give you a lift? I'd like some company tonight.
So would I. Wentworth Detention Centre, Mrs. Jackson speaking. Oh, Inspector Grace, I phoned the hospital, but they wouldn't give me any information. Yes, I see. Thank you. The policewoman, she died.
There we are now. You freshen yourself up a bit, okay?
Thanks, Judy. You're a real friend.
Well, I'm a good listener. And sometimes it helps to talk things out, doesn't it?
I suppose. No, I don't know how I got involved with him in the first place.
Honey, when you fall in love, you leave yourself wide open to be hurt. Sometimes people take advantage of it.
Is that why you prefer women?
I don't know. I do think that women understand women's problems.
Judy, have you ever been with a man?
No. You know, not really. Well, there was a guy once, you know. It's in the States. He kept ringing me up all the time, you know. Just ringing me up. I kept saying no. He kept asking me out. He was like a bad smell. I couldn't get rid of him. Anyway, I went out with him, and he's really nice. I liked him. Probably could have gone to bed with him. I don't know. But one night he came over to the house, and he had a girl with him. He kept suggesting all night long that the three of us go to bed together. Whew. It's not my scene, you know. Anyway, that's a long time ago.
Tracy? Your father's here to visit, but it's too late now.
I'll tell him I'm fine. Mrs. Jackson, is there any news?
Yes, I'm sorry. She died. Tracy?
It's as bad as if I killed her myself.
No, honey. Look, I'll look after Mrs. Jackson. Don't worry, she'll be all right.
I'll get Officer Powell to look in on you later.
Hey, calm down now. It's all right, honey. It's all right.
Well, Miss Morris, make the most of your outing.
You think she'll be back then?
I should think so. I can't see them letting her off, even after all the help she's given us. Got to be some example made.
Oh, how are you, Tracy?
I'm fine.
Come on, then. Can't keep the bench waiting.
I think there'll be a reallocation of cells if she comes back.
Why?
Oh, come on, it's obvious. Judy Bryant's got her eye on her, and she doesn't seem to mind.
God's sake, Jim, will you give it a rest? You're sounding more like Vera every day.
As Deputy Governor, it's my duty to pass on my observation of the women's behaviour to Mrs. Davidson. I've got as much right to my opinion as you have to yours.
Fine. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go and give the Governor my opinion.
I suppose you want to add your 4 cents worth too, do you?
Come in.
Oh, if you're busy, I'll come back later.
No, come in, sit down. I'm just browsing through this. I'm thinking of redecorating.
Oh. Well, if you're interested, Jim's been seeing a lady in the design business. But I think it could be a bit rocky at the moment.
I wonder if she'd like a new customer. Do you think he'd give me her name?
Well, you can ask him, because I've just had a bit of a spat with him.
Oh, no, not about Tracy Morris.
Yes?
He spoke to me about it earlier. I must say I share his concern to a certain extent. Tracy's still quite young and impressionable. I wouldn't like to be accused of placing her in moral danger.
Judy is a lesbian, but she's not predatory. If anything, she's more of a mother figure to Tracy. They're close friends. And I think if you separate them now, it'll do Tracy more harm than good.
Well, he has shown a certain narrow-mindedness on occasion. I think we ought to watch the situation, but I won't move it just yet.
Thanks.
Okay, you lot, let's take a break. No point flogging ourselves to death.
Struth, I'm glad you're back in here, Bea. We was working our backsides off before.
Yeah, well, it suits me. I can tell you I'm buggered. I was up half the night with poor Tracy. God, she's really cut up over that policewoman.
Oh, one less cop.
Oh, come on. She's only doing her job.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Tracy seemed quite chirpy and brecky.
Oh, well, it's because I cheered her up eventually.
At this rate, we're all going to be asleep. Why don't you take over the press? The steam will keep you awake.
Oh, let's hope so.
You gonna help me, Bea?
No, I am not. You're capable. Get out in the corridor. Keep your eyes open. Give us a hoy if anyone comes.
Well, what's going on here?
I have decided to give myself a day off. Everyone's entitled to a bludge every now and then.
Oh, I'm sure you'd enjoy working here. Most of our children are short-term patients, tonsillectomies, overnight observation, that sort of thing.
Well, I reckon I'll be okay, sister.
I'm sure you will. Oh, there is one thing. Don't mention to any of the children where you've been. They're likely to tell their parents and, well, you know, we'd like to avoid any unpleasantness.
Yeah, sure.
Now, here we have our most very special patient, Simon Parks. Simon's been with us the longest of all the children in the ward, haven't you, Simon?
Yeah, I had an operation. They cut my stomach open when I was asleep.
Gee, and I bet you never even cried.
No.
This is Doreen, Simon. She's going to help us look after the children.
Hello, Simon.
Hello, will you read me a story?
Doreen has work to do first, but she'll come back and read to you later on.
Will you?
Sure will. See you later.
Oh, Mr. Fletcher, I've given some thought to the cell allocations you recommended, but I think for the time being we should let things stand as they are.
Well, it's your decision.
However, I do appreciate your point, and I think we should keep a close eye on both Morris and Bryant.
Don't worry, I'll be watching them.
By the way, I believe you know an interior designer.
Well, word certainly gets around, doesn't it? I used to. I haven't seen her in quite a while.
I wondered if you could give me her name. I'm thinking of redecorating, and I really don't know of anyone.
Well, yes, certainly. It's Sarah Forrest. She's part owner of Classic Interiors in Main Street.
Classic Interiors, Main Street. Thank you. I'll call round there. Oh, should I mention your name?
Well, yes. Why not? Look, why don't I contact her for you?
Well, I don't want to put you in the spot.
No, it's no trouble. Give me an opportunity to contact her anyway.
Well, I won't have any free time today, but sometime tomorrow will be fine.
Doesn't seem to be any answer. Look, why don't you leave it with me, eh?
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher.
Tracy Ann Morris, you have been found guilty by this court of attempting to import a prohibited drug. And this is a crime viewed most seriously by the court and carries a maximum penalty of 25 years imprisonment. Your plea of ignorance of the fact is no defense, as you admit to conspiring to smuggle the parcel, and we cannot believe that you were ingenuous enough not to question its contents. However, in view of your youth, a penitent attitude, we will allow that you were misled by undesirable elements. In sentencing you, I've also taken into account the assistance you have given the police, which led to the arrest of the persons who planned the crime. I therefore sentence you to 2 years imprisonment with a non-parole period of 15 months.
One day, Marvelling the Wizard had to visit his cousin who was sick.
Was he in hospital too?
Oh, no, I don't think he was that sick.
Now, Pussycat Perkin,
he said,
I have to go out for a while.
Is that how wizards talk?
Of course it is. Haven't you ever heard a wizard talk?
Hello, children. Enjoying the story?
Oh, I'd finished all the jobs you gave me, sister, so I thought...
Yes, you've done very well for your first day, Doreen. But your shift's over now, so you can clock off.
Oh, but can't I finish reading the story to the boys first?
I can't authorise overtime.
No, that's okay. I just want to finish it, that's all.
Well, very well then, but I think you should clock off first.
I'll be back in a minute.
You don't have to do this, you know. I've got no complaints about your work.
Oh, no. I want to, really. I haven't got anything to rush home for.
Now I'm going to make something real nice for our room, eh?
Geez, will you look at those mitts? Talk about the ravages of time.
Yeah, sure sign of old age when your knuckles start to wrinkle.
All right, you lot, mail call.
Oh, goody, I can do the mail.
Adams, Stokes, Shepherd, Birdsworth,
Oh, beauty! It's from Marcy.
and Smith.
Who's it from, B?
It's probably a final request from the tax man.
Oh, it's a pity if your best friend's not allowed to show an interest.
Yeah? Read all you want.
Ken Pierce. What's he want to send you a birthday card for?
Oh, to wish me Merry Christmas. What do you think?
It's your birthday, B. Many happy returns.
Oh, you never told us.
Well, you and I have been in the same cell long enough. I thought you would have remembered.
So it is your birthday?
Yeah, I thought I was right.
Well, why didn't you mention it before? I'd forgotten. We could have had another party.
Oh, sure. After all the stuff I pinched for Doreen's send-off, the screws would have loved that.
Well, I think this calls for a celebration. How about we crack a bottle of scotch?
Ah, nah. Let's leave that till Christmas. I stopped counting birthdays after 39 anyway.
Oh, that was superb, Meg.
Thanks. So is this wine. It was a sort of cheer-up dinner.
Well, it worked. Well, for me, anyway.
Oh, I was just thinking about the future.
Well, whose?
Mine, yours, Tracy's, everybody's.
And what do you see in your crystal ball?
Sure. Trouble, perhaps.
What sort of trouble?
Oh, I was just wondering what the department will think about us.
Well, what's it got to do with them?
I hope they don't think you're trying to cultivate me in order to get special favours for Tracy.
Meg, we've talked about this before. Of course, I feel closer to Tracy by seeing you.
Perhaps I should change jobs.
You know I wouldn't mind if you did.
It's just that I get so sick and tired of the attitude of some of the people there. Well, Jim and Vera in particular, always trying to read something nasty into Tracy's friendship with Judy.
Judy? Oh, that's the one Vera told me about.
Yes.
Meg, you don't think Tracy... No, she's always had boyfriends.
Bob, please, not you. I thought at least you'd understand.
Well, you read some pretty strong stuff about women's prisons, Meg.
All right. I can't deny that certain things do happen, but it doesn't change the women. The prison itself does that. It throws them into a little community all of their own, with no male influence, where the only way to make life bearable is to rely on your friendships with the other women. But, Bob, remember, she'll still be your daughter when she comes out.
Fire today caused extensive damage to a factory in Sydney. Units from Redfern and Waterloo were called in when the local brigade were unable to contain the blaze.
Hey, Jude, fancy a game of cards?
I'll give you a game after the news. Have you seen Lizzie anywhere? No, she's probably in the loo or something.
It is thought the fire started in a storeroom containing chemicals. Police do not suspect arson. In the county court today, Tracy Ann Morris was found guilty on the charge of attempting to import heroin and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. Morris was the victim of a kidnapping attempt yesterday
it's not worth
when 2 men allegedly impersonated police
No,
officers
I'm just being
in a bid
silly.
to stop her testifying.
You better out of all that long.
It's not over yet, though.
Oh, damage has been done now. They won't hassle you anymore.
You know, Bee's right. The professionals, darling, are not going to try and get at you anymore. There's no point in revenge.
He's currently being held in remand.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
That's the nearest thing I could get to a happy birthday cake. You got to blow out the candles. We got a present for you too.
Oh, thanks, love.
It's not much, but seeing tomorrow's buy-up, we had to whip around. We know you're trying to give up smoking, but we thought if you didn't want them, you could swap them for something you really did.
You're bloody mad.
Here is an item just to hand. Joe Vella, the principal suspect in the drug ring case, has been found hanged in his cell in Pentridge. There is, as yet, no comment from the police. And after this break, we'll bring you the sports roundup.
He probably didn't want to tell the truth like you did.
Do you think it was suicide?
Of course. Don't you?
No. No, I don't.
Hi, remember me?
If you've come here to be sarcastic, you can leave now. In fact, you can anyway.
I wish you'd tell me what I'm supposed to have done.
You haven't done anything, Jim. It's my fault. I'm sorry. Please, excuse me. I have to give a client a presentation.
Well, actually, I was on my way to work myself. And I've popped in on business.
Yes, sure.
No, honestly, the governor, Mrs. Davidson, she wants her flat redecorated, and, well, I've recommended you.
No, thanks.
Is business so good you can afford to turn it down?
As a matter of fact, yes.
You've really got it in for me, haven't you?
Look, I don't have to answer to you or anyone. Now, let me go. I've got work to do.
Look, Sarah, I'm sorry.
When will you get the message? Okay, we had a fling, but it's over. I don't want to see you again. For any reason.
All right, Stokes, I'll see what I can do. Thank you, Miss Bennett.
Latham's next, Mrs. Davidson.
Bring her in.
Latham.
Morning, Mrs. Davidson. It's ever so good of you to see me.
Well, what do you want, Chrissy?
Well, I've been reading in the paper about how mothers in prison in other states can get to keep their babies till they're 3.
Well, I can't transfer you interstate if that's what you're thinking.
No, I know that, but it says here that the prison reform group here is trying to get the same rules.
Chrissy, when is Elizabeth due to leave?
5 weeks and 2 days.
Well, it wouldn't be fair to pretend to you there's any chance of the regulations being changed. It takes time.
Yeah, but it says here that the prison reform...
Yes, I know. I attend most of the meetings.
You do?
Yes, it may surprise you to know that I think the system desperately needs a change.
You're not on the committee that's pushing for this, are
No,
you?
but I know a member who is.
Do you reckon I could phone them or they could come and see me or something?
Well, I'll give her a ring, Chrissy, and see if she can come out to see you. But I assure you she will tell you exactly as I have.
Doreen! Morning.
Hi.
Hey, look, I just want to apologise about the other night.
What for?
Oh, well, I think I might have sounded a bit pushy, you know, asking you over for drinks.
Oh, no.
Well, I realise you must be going through a bit of a trauma at the moment, what with separating with your husband and everything.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that, well, you're welcome at our house any time just for a chat or a bit of company.
Yeah, thanks. I've got to go now.
OK, I won't keep you. So, hey, what about dinner tonight?
No, I can't. I've got to work.
Tomorrow?
No. Look, just leave me alone. You don't give a bugger about me.
Well, of course I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't invite you. Well, I like to get to know all my neighbours.
Well, you wouldn't want to know me because I'm bad news. I just got out of jail.
What?
Yeah, I'm a crim. All right? So you just leave me alone and I'll leave you alone.
Come on, Simon. Your mummy and daddy are waiting downstairs.
No, I'm not going. I want to see Doreen.
Well, I'm afraid Doreen's running a bit late this morning.
No.
You can't keep your parents waiting. Well, at least go with the nurse and get changed.
No.
Oh, thank goodness you're here.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm late, Doctor, but I missed the tram.
It's
and
all
then
right, you're forgiven on one condition. Get this little boy to agree to go home.
Well, what's all this about, Simon?
I wanted to see you. I've got something for you.
What is it?
It's a painting for you. I did it myself.
Oh, gee, Simon, it's terrific.
I've got to go now.
Yeah, well, you look after yourself, won't you?
Thanks for reading me a story.
Well, thanks for the painting.
Bye.
Bye.
You're a lifesaver. Now, look, don't worry about being late. I'll square it with Sister.
Goody, these can be returned to Central Files, thank you. Oh, good morning, Mr. Fletcher.
Morning.
Did you manage to see your interior design friend?
Yes, I did, Mrs. Davidson. Look, I think you'd be better off getting somebody else. She's a bit tied up at the moment.
Oh, there's no rush. I don't want the work to start immediately. I'm really only looking for ideas at the moment.
Oh, yes, well, I honestly don't think that she'll be your style. Her work's ultra-modern.
I hope you're not suggesting I'm in my dotage.
No, not in the least. It's just that, well, there have been quite a few complaints about her work. There's some talk that it's a bit shoddy. I think you'd be better off picking somebody out of the telephone book. Excuse me, please, Mrs. Davidson.
Oh, Mrs. Jackson?
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
Are you on friendlier terms with Jim Fletcher at the moment?
Well, apart from a certain difference of opinion, I suppose so. Why?
Well, I rather feel I've put my foot in it. This relationship he had with the interior decorator, what do you know about it?
Well, from what I can gather, it was she that broke it off. But I think Jim thinks more of her than he's prepared to admit.
I was afraid of that. I get the feeling my innocent inquiry has caused a bit of friction. He's just done his best to put me off using her.
Oh, he wouldn't be so petty as to discourage business. Unless, perhaps, he thinks it would reflect on him if her work was not up to scratch.
Oh, that's silly. Besides, I was speaking to a friend of mine last night who knows her reputation. I think I'll visit her at lunchtime and see for myself. Oh, mentioning no names, of course.
By the way, Lizzie was asking after Doreen. Do you know how she's getting on at the hospital?
No, I must give Dr. Henderson a ring. I'll let you know. Oh, and Mrs. Jackson, if Doreen does come back to visit, I think she should be discouraged. I know it's hard not letting her see her friends, but it's the only way to make her stand on her own 2 feet.
Ah, g'day, Vera. How you been? Still sucking lemons for breakfast?
Who are you?
Oh, Vera. Don't you remember me? I'm hurt. I did a stretch in here about 3 years ago.
Myra Desmond.
The very same.
Where's the accompanying officer?
Oh, no, Vera, you got me all wrong. I'm straight as a die now.
Well, what are you doing here?
Just visiting. Prison reform group. Mrs. Davidson asked me to see a Chrissy Latham.
How did you manage to worm your way into this? Mrs. Davidson's a member.
Of course she is. We've got prison officers and lawyers, ex-crims, hookers, junkies, even cops. All united in a common cause.
Just because you've got the support of some semi-official bunch of do-gooders, don't you try and push your luck with me. Now sign in. You should know the rules.
That's what I like about you, Vera. You're so stirrable. Fag, Chrissy?
There's no smoking in the interview room, Desmond. You know that.
Rules were made to be broken, Vera.
You put that out, or I'll stop this visit at once.
Look, I don't have to be here. I'm doing this as a favour to Mrs. Davidson.
And while you're here, you'll obey the regulations. Now put it out.
Never could resist screw baiting. Mrs. Davidson's told me a bit about you. You've got just over 5 weeks with your kid, eh?
Yeah, that's right. I read about your campaign, though, how you're trying to get the rules changed and that. Well, any chance of it happening, do you reckon?
Not in time to help you, I'm afraid, love. Ah, you know what the government's like. Takes them 6 weeks before they read our petition, 6 months before they bother to reply, and 6 years before they think about doing anything.
Looks like I got myself nicked in the wrong state, doesn't it?
Ah, it's the same old story. No room, no facilities, no medical attention. We come up with a reasonable answer, they hit us with another excuse. Let's face it, the law hasn't changed much since Captain Cook.
They can't take her away from me. She's all I've got. I don't want her put in a home.
Hang on, kid, don't get upset. Look, you're due for parole soon, aren't you?
Yeah, but you know what that's like. You can't rely on it.
Yeah. Look, haven't you got anyone on the outside that could help out until then? Family?
Oh, only me dad and me brother. I wouldn't let her stay with them.
I don't think you've got much choice, love. She'll probably be fostered out rather than put in a home, though.
Oh, thanks a lot.
I'm sorry, Chrissy. We'll keep stirring for a change in the law, but as it stands, there's no way they're going to let you keep your baby after she's a year old.
Hello, Mrs. Jackson.
Doreen, what are you doing here?
I came to see Lizzie.
I'm afraid you can't.
Well, what about Bea or Chrissy?
Doreen, Mrs. Davidson would prefer you stay away from here. How can you possibly make a future for yourself when you keep on living in the past?
Yeah, well, I was allowed to the last time I was out.
Yes, and look what happened. You rely too heavily on Bea and Lizzie. Oh, I'm sorry, Doreen, but there's nothing I can do. Mrs. Davidson's the only one who could give you permission, and she's out at the moment. Well, how's the new job? Lizzie's worrying the life out of me for news.
Well, it's great. I love it. And the kids are terrific.
You making lots of new friends?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you try and get out as much as you can. Get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, I will. Well, give my love to Bea and Lizzie, won't you?
Of course.
Come through and sign out, Desmond. And you can be sure I'll be speaking to Mrs. Davidson about you.
Good. Say hello to her for me.
Myra, what are you up to these days?
Hi, Mrs. Jackson. No, I'm not doing too bad. Bought myself a little bookshop with the old man's insurance money. Not a gold mine, but it keeps me going.
Hi, Myra. Remember me?
Doreen Anderson, how are you,
If
love?
you want to have a reunion, do it outside.
Anything for a friend, Vera. Going my way?
Yeah, I guess so. Bye, Mrs. Jackson.
Bye, Doreen. Bye, Myra.
I'm amazed that you can be so civil to them.
Vera, they're ex-prisoners now. They're not even on parole.
What did Burns want anyway?
She wanted to see Lizzie.
Well, at least you didn't let her in.
No, I didn't. Governor's orders. Now, is there anything else you want to chip me about? Or are you putting in a written report?
Prison reform group takes up most of my spare time now. Still, it's worthwhile. We're trying to get them to allow mothers to keep their kids till they're 3 years old. That's why the governor called me in to see Chrissy Latham.
Oh, Chrissy?
Yeah.
How is she?
Oh, a bit depressed, Natch. Not much fun having your kid taken away from you. Is she a friend of yours?
Oh, sort of. I spent the last 2 weeks with her in maternity.
You're pregnant?
I was.
Oh, sorry, love. Didn't mean to pry.
Yeah, well, I think it's bloody awful if they take the little kids away from their mothers.
Yeah. Chrissy had family on the outside that could take care of her.
Well, do you reckon they'd let me look after her? I could be her foster mother.
Oh, I doubt it, love. You've only just got out.
Yeah, but I got my own house and a job.
So if you're working, how are you going to look after her?
Oh, yeah.
You could try, but I think they'll knock you back.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe she'd be better off in a home. Prison's no place for a kid.
But neither is a home if her mother's not there.
I'll come back, darling, you know that.
I know, but it doesn't make the waiting any easier. I wish you didn't have to go.
So do I, but it's something I've just got to do.
Hold me.
We'll be together again soon. It'll be just like old times.
I love you, Doreen.
I love you too.
Well, I mean, I intend to spend a very quiet afternoon here in my flat with my wife.
Yeah?
Yeah, except it might be all that quiet. I'm sorry.
Do you love me anymore?
I only know it isn't working. You know, every time we get things sorted out, something goes wrong. We're just tearing each other apart. We only end up hating each other.
I'd never hate you.
Look, I want a divorce, Doreen.
Doreen! It's me! Please open the door.
Look, what do you want from me? Why don't you leave me alone?
I've been thinking about what you told me, and I just want to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter to me where you've been. Now, you can sit here night after night, on your own, wallowing in self-pity if you like, but I still want to be your friend, and you're welcome in our house any time. That's all I wanted to say. I'll see you later.
Thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate it.
Oh, Elizabeth, it's all right. Mummy's coming. Come on. Oh, Elizabeth, what's the matter? What's the matter with you, darling? Let me get you something. Come on. Come on.
Can't you stop her crying? She'll wake the lot of them.
Well, she's not well, Miss Bennett. Look, she's breathing funny. Well, can't you get the nurse or something for her?
Well, she's not in yet. I'll bring her as soon as she arrives. Oh, won't you give her something?
There. Shush.
Hello.
Good morning. Can I help you?
You must be Sarah Forrest.
That's right.
I spoke to your partner yesterday. He gave me one of your leaflets. I must say I'm very impressed with what I've seen of your work so far.
Well, thank you. Are you interested in redecorating?
I have an apartment that needs a facelift.
Well, if you'd like to give me your name and address, I'll call around and take a look.
Certainly. Here's my card. Could you come in the evening? I work during the day.
Of course. Is there a number I can reach you on?
Yes, my business number's on there. It's Wentworth Detention Centre. I'm the governor.
Oh, Jim sent you then?
Well, he gave me your name, but a word from a friend of mine was the deciding factor. She'd heard of your reputation.
Well, actually, I'll be tied up with the job for a week or two, so I'll get Julian to come around. How would Thursday evening suit?
Oh, that'll be fine. We haven't met before, have we?
No, I don't think so.
Strange. I've seen your face somewhere. Perhaps in a magazine article or something.
Well, I've never had my picture in the papers. Well, thank you for calling. We'll get onto it straight away.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Phillips.
Oh, please call me Julian. Another potential customer, eh?
She recognized me.
What?
That's the Mrs. Davidson that Jim recommended. She can't remember when or where, but she knew me.
Oh, my God. I knew from the start that he'd bring us trouble. Now, look, don't panic. I'll look after Mrs. Davidson, and with a bit of luck, she won't know who you are.
Is she going to be all right, sister?
She seems to be very congested. I think it's bronchitis, though the way she's breathing sounds like asthma.
Well, what if she has an attack?
Well, now, calm down. Premature babies often have trouble with their lungs. She'll grow out of it in time. However, I'd better arrange to send her to the hospital.
Is that absolutely necessary?
I would say so, Miss Bennett. Asthma attacks can be very serious in small babies. It's best to be on the safe side.
But you don't know it's asthma.
Exactly. I'm not a doctor. That's why I think she should be sent for a full examination.
Will she be there long?
I shouldn't think so. They'll just keep her in for a while for observation, then send her back with some medication.
Oh, Elizabeth, we've got so little time left together. Why did you have to get sick now?
Good morning, ladies.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Davidson. Sister Franklin has requested a transfer to hospital for Chrissy's baby, a suspected lung infection.
Oh, dear, I hope she'll be all right. I'll sign the authorization papers straight away. Has transport been arranged?
Yes, Miss Bennett organised it.
I'll phone the department and get leave for Chrissy to visit.
How are the redecorating plans going?
Well, I called into the shop this morning and met Sarah Forrest. Either she or her partner will call in one evening to discuss it. It was rather strange, actually. I feel sure I've met her somewhere before.
Oh, that often happens.
Perhaps she has a double.
It's just at the back of my mind that I've seen her photo or something. Could you bring me the files from the storeroom?
You don't expect to find it among them.
I can't say. All I know is I'm convinced I've seen her somewhere before, and for some reason I associate her with the prison.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again, but that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down, but the sun and rain are prisoners too. When morning comes around, last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone.